A day of drinking, a night of fighting, and an argument spiraling out of control.
911, what's your emergency?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Ask anyone, Daniel Underwood was the most happy-go-lucky guy you'd ever meet.
And what would we take away from your brother? What would you say was the lasting impression if I met him?
His smile and his jokes, just very easygoing, laid back. He would love to go out to the lake a lot.
The always smiling 33-year-old was just a big kid who loved nothing more than to hang out with his children in their little hometown of Sulphur Springs, Texas. But after the messy breakup of his marriage, Daniel moves on right into the arms of a girl he met at a bar, Rebecca Nelson. Rebecca shacks up at Daniel's house and they're already planning for the future. At least, Rebecca is.
She was going through what little bit of money he had left and right.
And all the money he had was from a cashed out 401k worth close to $20,000. Daniel tells his friends Rebecca's gotta go before the whole 20 grand is gone.
Daniel and I were talking on the phone, and I said, "Who's that?" And he said, "That's my next ex. She's out of here." He didn't like the fact that she sat out in the garage and smoked dope all day.
Before Daniel can get Rebecca out, he brings in another roommate, Maria Harvick. He's hoping the added rent will help cover expenses that are exploding out of control.
Did he ever talk to you about money concerns?
Well, he had been in the red in the bank, and he said, I wasn't supposed to be. So I was thinking, you need to keep track a little bit better, because I didn't know what the situation was at that time.
Then, just 2 months after Rebecca moves in, all that money would dwindle to almost nothing, and Daniel's domestic bliss would descend into horrifying bloodshed.
911, what's your emergency?
My fiancé just shot himself in the head by accident.
He shot himself in the head?
Yes! Oh my God! Oh my God!
A frantic call to 911. EMTs are desperate to save Daniel from a gunshot to the head. Daniel's mom and sister race to the hospital, unprepared for what they'd see next.
I was in the waiting area when they actually wheeled his body in. I'm screaming, "Is that my Bubba?" Because, his head was covered with a towel.
Sadly, the man Stacy called Bubba, her beloved brother Daniel, is dead.
We already knew at that point that he was gone.
Leaving his family desperate for answers from the two other people in the house, Rebecca Nelson and new roommate Maria Harvick. They were especially interested in what Rebecca had to say, who was right there when Daniel died.
I wanted to talk to her and get her side of what happened.
What was her tone? Was she crying? Was she...
Not really. At the hospital, I asked her when she come up there what had happened, and she had her hands in my face, and she was telling me, and I finally realized that Daniel's blood was on her, both of her hands. And I said, "Is that his blood?" And she said, "Yes."
Cops processed the crime scene and swabbed Rebecca, Daniel, and Maria's hands for gunshot residue. Then this tragic story takes a bizarre twist when Rebecca's brought down to the police station for questioning.
Can I get his wallet at all? Because, I have credit cards in there too, and because the Discover card we just got is actually my card, but it's in his name.
Her boyfriend just killed himself, and she's worried about credit cards? Detectives certainly didn't expect that to be her first concern.
I'm probably going to turn his wallet over to his mom and dad.
And cops are more baffled with what Rebecca starts to tell them about what triggered the shooting.
Everything was just hunky-dory.
Hunky-dory until Daniel checks his bank account online.
He said, "We've got all our bills paid and we're still like $42 in the pause." And he said, "Well, what am I supposed to do about, what am I supposed to do, Rebecca?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, let's just worry about it tomorrow."
But Rebecca says Daniel told her there would be no tomorrow.
He jumped up off the couch and he said, "Well, I can show you what I'm gonna do about it." And I looked down the hallway and he had that shotgun to his chin. And he said, I'm gonna fix this all right now."
Then Rebecca claims she jumped up and tried to wrestle the gun away from Daniel while making a desperate plea to talk him down.
Just to put the gun down, I said, "Baby, the gun's loaded, you got it cocked." whatever the problem is, we can fix it. Just put the gun down. He didn't say a word. He just bent over and shot. He hit the floor. He just dropped.
Then cops bring in Daniel and Rebecca's new roommate, Maria Harvick. Maria tells detectives she didn't see what happened, but she definitely heard it.
I heard the shot. I thought maybe it just went off in, in the ceiling or something, but then when I walked out, I seen him on the floor. Then that's when I started seeing all the blood just start coming.
Did you see the gun at that point?
No.
The autopsy is concise and to the point. Daniel was severely intoxicated. His blood alcohol level, 0.21. Cause of death, intraoral shotgun wound. Manner of death, suicide. Cops closed the case, but Daniel's family says not so fast.
What makes you so sure that this wasn't an accident?
Up next, the key witness to Daniel's death comes to Crime Watch Daily.
I can still smell the blood and I still have nightmares.
And she's telling us a whole different story than the one she told police.
I was scared. I was scared maybe she's gonna shoot me too. I told them, that he shot himself.
Now, Maria is changing her story, coming to Crime Watch Daily to reveal what she told cops was a lie.